Hey everyone, Carl back with Littleroot Lessons, bringing you a deep dive featuring Regirock. We covered Registeel last week, and someone requested that we cover Regirock, and I am more than happy to oblige. Remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications for when new videos go live. We put out videos every single day, and comment down below who you want to see me cover next week. I'm looking for specifically Players Cup 4 stars and standouts. I already have Blastoise lined up for Wednesday, so I'd like to see who you all want to see me cover on Friday. So let's talk about Regirock. Regirock is a very powerful Dynamax option for a lot of teams. Unlike the others in the Giant Trio, it is the more physically offensive one. It does boast a very powerful defense, just like Registeel has very powerful defenses and Regice has very powerful special defense. Regirock on this side is a very physically offensive and defensive Pokemon. Carrying weakness policy most of the time and being immune to stat drops with clear body make this thing just overpowered in some certain situations. If you don't have access to things like Will-O-Wisp or other status, or have good ways of just stalling out its Dynamax and making sure its weakness policy doesn't get activated, Regirock can take over games very, very quickly. So Regirock kind of saw a little bit of play in Series 7, not so much play in Series 8. But as we've gone into Series 9, it's started to kind of just become a pillar of the format. Sun Regirock is a very powerful archetype, specifically because you have access to things like Venusaur and Torkoal, which is a very powerful lead, and Regirock does a very good job of just sitting in the back and waiting for its time to strike. Outside of Sunroom teams, you get things like Curse Regirock, which can be a powerful option. It's a stall tactic that kind of works in the same vein as Registeel, but not quite. Because you're boosting your attack and defense instead of just your defenses. So we'll talk about the curse set when we get into building with Regirock a little bit later. But it overall is just a powerful option, and just for most teams. Common partners for Regirock include things like Sun teams like Venusaur, things like Zapdos, things like Togekiss. Togekiss is honestly one of my favorite partners with it because you're immune to ground, so you can redirect all the max quakes to Togekiss, and your opponent can't click them, safely anyway. And it also redirects max Knuckle, which it resists and takes easily. So things like Thundurus can't blow it up, and they have to focus on Togekiss first. That gives you an opportunity to, in turn, take out the Thundurus or take out the threat with your Regirock. Other common partners are things like Tapu Fini, which prevents status, Incineroar intimidates, so you get your even physical defense gets boosted even more, things like that. You commonly see it with the Sun Duo because the Sun Duo is really good into a lot of Regirock's weaknesses, specifically like water types, ground types, things like that. Torkoal setting up Sun reduces the water weakness. Venusaur answers water and ground types very easily with max Vine Lash or just overall Leaf Storm. So it's really cool to just kind of see that like, a lot of these common partners can just like slap together and make a Sun team. So, Metagame Breakdown. I'm going to talk a little bit about Curse here because I find it weird being so high with weakness policy being so high. These don't correlate very well. So, Rock Slide, Drain Punch, Protect. These are the common moves you normally see in weakness policy. Usually the last move is Ice Punch or Stomping Tantrum, something like that. I personally like Ice Punch just to deal with other grass types and things like that, opposing Sun teams and whatnot. So, what makes no sense to me here is why Curse is at 51% and none of the other moves kind of support the Curse game plan. We see things like Ice Punch, Earthquake, Iron Head, Heavy Slam here in the lower tiers. Body Press is like the one move I associate with Curse alongside Protect. I just don't understand it. Common items. Weakness policy, obviously the most popular item for Regirock. I would be surprised if you run into a Regirock that isn't carrying weakness policy or Assault Vest. Being said, Assault Vest is very powerful on Regirock, mainly because its special defense is a little bit lacking. So that Assault Vest definitely helps bulk you up, definitely makes you a very powerful Dynamax target. Comes with a downside if you don't get to run Protect, but it's okay without it. Leftovers. Leftovers is more of the Curse item that I'm thinking of, which it's weird that I see Curse at 51 and Leftovers at 3%. I don't get it. My Curse set that I built is not optimal, but it's really, really cool, and I really, really like it, and I have no idea why these percentages are the way they are. Building with Regirock. Look to make Regirock the star of your team. It's going to be the diamond in the rough. It's the pillar of your team, and you want this thing to do well. You need to mitigate its weaknesses, like the Sun team does, the best you can. Water moves, ground moves, rock, fighting moves, steel moves. I could list types here forever and probably just go blue in the face on the number of Pokemon and coverage moves that are running around the format that can beat up Regirock. So definitely be prepared for people to be able to hit your Regirock super effectively. Be ready to kind of Dynamax it in a moment's notice if you need to. Things like that. If you're looking at non-weakness policy builds, and Assault Vest also isn't for you, the Curse builds are really, really powerful. They kind of stall out the game in the same vein that Registeel does. The one downside is your team looks a lot different. It is not the powerful Sun Dynamax option that Regirock Sunroom has. You're going to be more looking at things like Grimmsnarl, Screens, Intimidate spam, things like that. White Snarl spam is another good option. Ways to mitigate your opponent's damage while you set up your curses and get your Regirock into a position where it can Dynamax if it wants to, or just take over the game. So, movesets for Regirock. Regirock boasts a really powerful defense, so you don't actually have to invest anything into its defense. And there's multiple ways to build it and still be successful. Weakness policy Regirock is the most common. It's the first set here. Rock Slide, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, Protect. Ice Punch lets you hit grass types that can annoy you, things like Venusaur. Rock Slide hits Stab, so it's everything else that matters. And Drain Punch gives you an answer to things like opposing Registeel, opposing Regirock, things like that. Lets you hit on a different axis a little bit. Also just boosts your attack, which honestly isn't a bad idea. The Assault Vest set looks to boost your defenses while you Dynamax, and then eventually come out and just click Earthquake or Rock Slide over and over and over and over and over. It's very bulky and it's very powerful and it's still very slow, just like the weakness policy set. You just don't have the added benefit of being able to go to +2 at a moment's notice. The last set here is very much like Registeel wants to do. Sit there, curse, 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 protect, curse, stall out turns, get really bulky, and then we get to click Body Press, Rock Slide, whatever we want to do. Which, fun fact, since Curse boosts your attack, your Rock Slide's going to do more and more every Curse you get in. So spamming Curse early on is actually a really viable option. Beating up Regirock is... trying to think of the ways to do it. There's not easy. There's ways to do it, but it's not easy, and it's not always just like forward thinking. It's very much planning out ahead of time. Like, I have to have a plan for Regirock rather than I just bring Xmon and I win. It's more, okay, I need to make sure I Will-O-Wisp it. I need to make sure I do this. I need to make sure I do that. So, like, Status is a very powerful option against Regirock since it's got that Clear Body ability and it's immune to your Intimidate, your Fake Tears, and things like that. If you think it's weakness policy, don't do it. Don't activate it. You will regret every minute of your life after that point until the match is over. Regirock teams tend to bring ways to activate the policy themselves. Usually it's Bulldoze, could also be Surf and things like that. So usually they'll find a way to do it themselves, so if you can stop that, you're going to be very much ahead. If it does activate, you could play around it and try to stall it out, but your hopes of winning that game are dwindling with every turn that goes by. If you figure out that it's not weakness policy, blow it up. That's the best advice I can give you. Start spamming special super effective attacks into it, special attacks into it. Just start chipping away at it and taking as much damage off of it as possible. Even if it's burnt, Regirock can still win games. Because it has access to the move Rock Slide, it can flinch you out of these games very, very easily, and you can just sit there just like a sitting duck and watch yourself just get flinched over and over and over and over, and just, it's miserable. Don't do that to yourself. Take it out when you can. So wrapping up with Regirock. As powerful as Regirock can be, there are ways to still get through it unscathed. Like I mentioned, Will-O-Wisp and Status are really powerful against it. While the majority of Regirock is weakness policy, other sets exist, so do some experimenting, figure out which one you like the most. I personally like the Curse sets because I like the stall out games and long drawn out battles, and it still does very powerful things afterwards. With a little bit of support and the right team, just overall build, Regirock has the ability to win games that you probably shouldn't be winning or wouldn't win normally. I know I watched a couple games of laddering with Carter, and he had a game pretty much locked up, and he just didn't take care of the Regirock, and it just sit there and flinched him out of the game. Take care of Regirock. Take it out first if you need to. The rest of the cast is usually a supporting cast. Don't worry about them. And that being said, I want to thank everyone for hanging out and listening to me ramble about Regirock today. Make sure to check out our Twitter. All of our handles are there on screen. Check the Discord link out in the description below. Remember to hit the subscribe button. It's free and it helps us out a ton. Hit the like button. Helps with the YouTube algorithm. And we will have a Blastoise video for you on Wednesday and some other random Players Cup 4 video on Friday. With that being said, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever in the world, and we will see you all next week with Blastoise. Bye, guys.